Chapter 9, posted the 10th of April, 2020. I set the flowers on my kitchen table, knowing if I texted Cade now, I wouldn't finish my work. I wondered how he got my address. Because of Craig, I'd searched for my name several times, but that was my first name, not my middle name, which I went by now. Cade could have asked Tanner too. For my peace of mind, I needed to know. Once payroll was done, I checked my inbox for other things I needed to do. Product development wanted new second quarter projections. I was tempted to send them a GIF of a magic 8-ball. It would be as accurate. I refrained, instead responding I would start on Monday. Like the rest of the company, I had Good Friday off. I shut my laptop and used my phone to message Cade. Sarah, thanks for the flowers. I sent a photo of them sitting on my kitchen table. Cade, glad they got to the right house. Sarah, how did you know where I lived? Cade, Tanner pointed out your street one time. I drove down it the other day and saw Wilson on the mailbox. I didn't find you on a basic search, but you did say your dad owned it. Sarah, good deduction. I hadn't thought about the name on the mailbox. I put removing the name on tomorrow's to-do list. Cade, what are you doing tonight? Sarah, same thing I plan on for tomorrow, sorting through the items left in the basement. My grandparents didn't throw anything away. Cade, I wish I could help. Sarah, safe time to offer. Smiley face. Tomorrow night, I'll meet you at a park on 6th Street at 6:30. Does that work? Do you like Italian or Chinese? Sarah, time is fine. I like both. Not super fond of hot food. Cade, see you tomorrow. 2 boxes of obsolete kitchen gadgets distracted me. A pyramid-shaped grater type object turned out to be a stovetop toaster when I ran a search on the photo I took. Apparently, collectors still wanted them. It had to work better than my electric one that constantly burned my toast on one end. Instead of eating lunch, I opened my Bible and read several New Testament passages about Christ's last hours. I prayed for divine intervention and relief from COVID-19 for the entire world, for the economy, healthcare workers, and for those who were suffering. I prayed for miracles. I prayed for my mother's friend's husband who'd been in ICU for 24 days fighting the virus, for a friend's dance partner in New York City Hospital, for a co-worker recovering at home. Each morning and night, I'd included those things in my prayers, but having missed 2 meals, the fervency of my prayers increased. As the day continued, I found I was always thinking with prayer in my heart. Before dressing for dinner, I knelt and prayed again. If ever the world needed God, it was now. As I drove to the park, I had an idea for a date. If tonight went well, I wanted to see Cade again. I needed to ask him out this time. Cade waited next to his truck holding 2 takeout bags from a local Italian place. After I parked, he set one on the hood of my car and then walked down one of the paths. I grabbed my bag and followed him to the large bandstand in the center of the park. Cade stood near a TV tray on one side of the bandstand. On the other side was another tray covered with a large white nap. A single yellow rose lay on a china place setting. Welcome to Chez Cade. It's the best in long-distance dining with 12 feet between diners. I sat at the little table. Very nice place. This is a little awkward. I normally don't pray on dates, but it seems today needs one, or at least a moment of silence. Cade's request caught me off guard. I hadn't prayed on dates either. I believe you're right. Do you mind if I pray out loud? Perhaps we could stand closer. I feel like we are shouting. I have a mask. Cade pulled a fabric mask from his pocket. I took a scarf from my purse and wrapped it around my nose and mouth. We stood 5 feet apart in the center of the pavilion. Cade offered the prayer. It was much like my prayer earlier, minus the personal names. When he concluded, we both stood there for a moment. In some settings, we might have hugged. I got us both the sampler plates. I wasn't sure what you'd like to eat. The sampler will be fine. We returned to our separate tables and talked. Cade had 2 older sisters and a flock of giggling nieces. I told him about Brandon and Haley. We discussed the directive measures and wondered if our date might be out of bounds for them. "How is your toilet paper supply?" asked Cade. I laughed. "I have 3 rolls left, thank you. And yours?" A blush stole up Cade's cheeks. "I have 24 rolls left. I went to my parents' house for Valentine's Day and stopped at Costco on the way home. I bought one of the 30-roll packs, figuring it would last me for a while. I usually get those when I go home, too. We ran out, and I figured the 12-pack I got at Walmart would last." "How is your roommate doing?" "Julianne's doing well. Her father needs bypass surgery, and she's nervous about it. The doctor's monitoring things in hopes they can wait a month or two. I spoke to her most days, usually leaving messages on Marco Polo." As we finished our dinners, rain began to dance on the bandstand roof. Thunder rolled in the distance. "Do you need help to clean up?" I asked. "I can take my dishes home and wash them." "I didn't think of that. I'm not worried. I can wash them. Put them in your empty takeout bag and set them in the milk crate." I wrapped the china in the unused takeout napkin and the one he used for the mini tablecloth so they wouldn't clink and chip. "I'm surprised a guy has china." "I borrowed a set from my mother 2 years ago and never returned them." I so wanted to ask him why. There were few reasons a man would borrow china from his mother. Cade folded his table and set it near the milk crate. "You can ask me why." "Why?" "I was going to use them to propose, only the night before she dumped me. Shortly after, I read a sermon on making every day special, so I used the china from time to time instead of saving it for something big." Why had she dumped him? I'd only known him a week. He seemed nice. Maybe they just didn't fit. "Thanks for making tonight special and memorable. Can I help you carry these things to your truck?" "If you'd like to take the TV trays and lean them up against the bumper, it will save me a trip." The rain fell harder. I hate deciding if I should wait out the rain. My sisters forced me to watch many movies where a couple was caught in the rain, and it was the most romantic moment. Not the same with social distancing. The cliché kiss in the rain scene, I'd watched dozens of them myself, sometimes repeatedly. I glanced at him, wondering if he would have initiated a moment if he'd been able to. No, but if it wasn't for social distancing, we'd probably be on a more normal second date. I didn't wait for his reply and made a run for a truck with a folded tray under each arm. I waited in Gretchen for 5 minutes. He didn't come. Rats. Had I ruined things? His comment confused me. Did he want romance? I hadn't asked him out for tomorrow. I opened my phone. Only 5% battery. Cade still hadn't come. I started Gretchen and drove away. I plugged in my phone as soon as I got home and opened the computer. My screen displayed the time. Had the date lasted for 4 hours? "Sierra, I would like to ask you out for a date tomorrow. If you want to go, I need your email address." An hour later, I crawled into bed. Cade hadn't answered. End of chapter. Lauren Grace. No question today. However, I'm still looking for scavenger hunt items for tomorrow.